Welcome back. Today we're tackling one of the most underrated skills in IELTS, speaking and beyond, spontaneity. The ability to think clearly and speak fluently on the spot, without a script, without a pause that stretches into silence, and without the dreaded, I'm not sure how to say this. We'll cover why spontaneity feels hard, the mental frameworks that make it easier, and the drills you can run this week to make quick thinking a habit.
Short version first, spontaneity isn't a talent, it's a system. Fluent, on-the-spot speakers aren't thinking faster than you. They're using reliable mental structures that buy them thinking time while words keep coming. Learn the structures, practice the triggers, and what feels like inspiration becomes a trained reflex.
For why speaking on the spot feels impossible. There are 3 reasons. 1, simultaneous processing overload. You're finding ideas, selecting vocabulary, monitoring grammar, and managing nerves all at once. 2, perfectionism paralysis. Waiting for the perfect sentence before you start speaking means you never start. And 3, the blank page problem. An open question with no constraints feels harder than a guided one, even though it should feel easier. Fix the system and all 3 become manageable. Our listeners.
The core mechanic. Separate thinking from talk. Fluent speakers don't think before they speak. They think while they speak. They use filler structures, transition phrases, and scaffold sentences to keep the channel open while the brain catches up. The goal is to close the gap between thought and output, not eliminate thinking altogether. Your mouth is buying your brain time.
The PrEP framework for instant structure. When a question arrives, apply PrEP point, state your position in 1 sentence, reason, give the main reason in 1 sentence. Example, add a specific detail or story, point again, restate your view briefly. This 4-step loop takes about 45 seconds, covers a complete answer, and works for almost any question. Practice it until the shape is automatic, so your brain only has to supply the content.
Bridging phrases that buy thinking time. These are your most practical tool. Instead of pausing in silence, use, "That's an interesting angle." What comes to mind first is, "I'd approach that in 2 ways." The clearest example I can think of is, each phrase is a legitimate opener that signals confidence to the listener and gives your brain 2 to 3 extra seconds to locate the next idea. Memorize 5 to 6 of these phrases so they're available without effort.
The opinion anchor technique. A common spontaneity trap is not knowing what you think about a topic mid-answer. Fix this before the exam by building a personal opinion bank. Choose 10 broad IELTS themes, technology, environment, education, health, work, and write 1 clear, defensible opinion on each. Not because the examiner will use those exact topics, but because having a preloaded position on broad themes means you're never starting from zero. Adapt the anchor, don't invent it under pressure.
Thinking in examples, not abstractions. Most candidates freeze because they try to think of perfect ideas. Instead, train yourself to think in stories and examples first. When a question arrives, ask internally, do I know a person, place, moment, or fact connected to this? A concrete example is always easier to retrieve than a polished argument, and from the example, the argument builds itself. Specificity also sounds more fluent than vague general statements. Examiners reward it.
The imperfect start rule. One of the most damaging habits is waiting for a complete thought before opening your mouth. Replace it with the imperfect start. Begin with a partial sentence and let it complete itself in real time. What I find most interesting about this is probably the way it affects everyday decisions. That sentence didn't exist before it was spoken. Starting creates momentum, waiting creates silence. Train yourself to trust the start.
Drills you can run this week. 1, random topic timer. Open a random word generator, take the first noun, and speak for 60 seconds without stopping. On any angle, any connection. Do this daily. 2, question roulette. Write 20 IELTS, part 3 questions on slips of paper, draw 1 per day, and answer immediately using PrEP. No preparation time. 3, retell with twist. Listen to a 2-minute podcast clip, then retell it to yourself with 1 new opinion added. Each drill targets a different spontaneity bottleneck.
Spontaneity in IELTS writing. Yes, it applies there too. Task 2 under timed conditions demands the same skill, generating a position and supporting ideas quickly without the luxury of extended planning. Use a 3-minute idea dump before writing. List every thought connected to the topic in note form, then select and organize. The dump bypasses the blank page paralysis and gets ideas onto paper fast.
Common traps and fixes. 1, repeating the question back word for word. Fix by paraphrasing, even loosely, which forces your brain into active processing. 2, trailing off mid-sentence when the idea runs out. Fix by committing to prep so you always know which phase you're in. 3. Overcorrecting in real time. Fix by finishing the sentence first, adjusting next. Self-correction mid-clause signals panic more than the original error ever would.
Final challenge. For the next 7 days, record one 60-second spontaneous answer each morning. No notes, no preparation. First thought wins. At the end of the week, listen back. You'll notice the gap between day 1 and day 7 is significant. Send us the day 7 clip and we'll give you targeted feedback on where structure or vocabulary can be tightened further.
Wrap up. Spontaneity is a skill built from 3 things: reliable structures like prep, a bank of preloaded opinions and examples, and daily low-stakes practice that trains your mouth to move before your brain is ready. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start talking, trust the structure, and let fluency follow. The examiner doesn't hear your hesitation as a gap, they hear your answer. Make it worth hearing.
Good luck, anchor your opinion, start imperfectly, and let the structure do the heavy lifting. See you next episode.